Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. This is Bruna and today we are going to be crocheting this incredible, this amazing, summery tank top in my favorite color. So this is what we are going to be learning in today's video. As you can see, it is a cropped tank top, but you can definitely change up the pattern a little bit and make it longer, even as a dress. There are many possibilities for this pattern right here that you can do to your liking. This is just how I had in mind since the beginning. I wanted to do tank top because it's perfect for summertime, and I also wanted to be cropped because I love high-waisted jeans, so I wanted to be cropped. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you do, don't forget to give your massive thumbs up as you always do. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to watch more tutorials like this one. I have weekly crochet video tutorials here on my channel, so if you would like to subscribe to watch more, feel free to do so. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy. So now let's begin with the tutorial. So here we have all of the materials for today's project. First, starting with this beautiful mustard yarn from Teslan.com is the Amanda 5. It's a super fine #1 yarn weight. This is my favorite yarn for summer projects because it's thin, it's 100% cotton as well, and it's beautiful. The design, any design that you make with this yarn is going to be amazing and it will look perfect. And then for the tools here, I have a measuring tape, a 2.5mm hook, a small pair of scissors, and a tapestry needle. So that's everything we are going to be using in today's project. So now let's begin with the little sketches and little explanations that I usually have at the beginning of the video. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is sketching very quickly here the design of the top that I'm doing, and then I'm going to be explaining to you the measurements that we are going to be using for this design. What I had in mind since the beginning is that I want it to be a v-neck and a tank top because that's perfect for summertime. So the very first measurement you have to take is your bust measurement. So my bust measurement is 92 centimeters. Once you know your bust measurement, you're going to be dividing this number by 4. In this case, is 23 centimeters for my measurement. This is the only measurement you're going to be taking that is going to be made to measure. So once you have this number, note it down because we are going to be coming back to this number. So this measurement right here, it's from this point to this point on the top. So this is the shape, the very first shape we are going to be doing for the top, which is the shoulder and the cups, in which is also going to be the back of the top. The back and the front are exactly the same. So this is the very first shape that we are going to be doing. And this 23 centimeters here, it's right where your cup is. So from this point to this point. You will be understanding a little bit more when you're crocheting and also when I'm showing you these parts. For now it's a bit confusing, I know. So it's right here. So mine measures 19 centimeters right now. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be stretching this part to see if it reaches the centimeters, the measurement that you need. All right, so as you can see here, mine reaches exactly to 23 centimeters. If your yarn is not as stretchy as mine is, because mine is quite stretchy, then you're going to be doing this part here until you reach 23 centimeters, or the centimeters or the measurement that you've taken. So that's just what I wanted to show you here so that you know exactly where this is coming from, because this number, it's what's gonna make the sizing of your top. So currently I have 3 of these shapes completed, in which I'm gonna show you right now how to make them, because you need to make 4 of these shapes. So it's going to be exactly the same. So it's going to be 2 for the front and 2 for the back. So for 2 shapes, you're going to be doing it normally. So you're not gonna be leaving a lot of yarn here at the beginning, but for 2 of the shapes, you are going to be leaving a little bit longer so that we can use this yarn to sew the 2 parts together. So you're going to be first leaving a little bit of yarn to sew the shoulders together. And then you're going to be creating a slip knot. So now you are going to be chaining 9. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So once you have your chain of 9, we are going to be skipping 5 stitches, and then we are going to be working on the number 6. So you don't count this loop as a stitch, so you're going to be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we are going to be starting to work our first shell into chain number 6. So prepare for a double crochet. So we are going to be working with double crochets, and then you're going to be skipping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On chain number 6, you're going to be first creating 2 double crochets, and then you're going to be doing a chain of 2 and 2 more double crochets, all into that same stitch. So here we have the shell completed. So now we are going to be skipping 2 chains. You can see that there is one here close to this double crochet, this one, and then you're going to jump right into the last one. And into that last stitch, we are going to be doing 1 double crochet. So it's exactly the same as the beginning. We have the chain here and the double crochet here, so it's the same size, the beginning and the end. So to go up, we are going to be chaining 3, we're going to turn project, and then we are going to go right into that chain 2 space, and then right on top of that we are going to be doing another shell. So 2 double crochets, a chain of 2, and 2 double crochets. So now to finish this row, we are going to be skipping all the double crochets, and we are going to go right on top of the chain 3. Make sure that you grab 2 little chains, 2 little loops from that stitch, and then here we are going to be creating our last double crochet. So here we have the second row completed. So now to go up, you just have to keep on repeating the second row. So I'm going to do one more with you. So you're going to first chain 3, turn project, and then right on top of the chain 2 space, we are going to be creating 2 double crochets, a chain of 2, and 2 double crochets, all into that same stitch. Now to finish this row, you're gonna go right on top of the chain 3. I usually just go right here. So we have the 2 stitches for the double crochets. Right beside that there is a little stitch, so I go right there, and then I create my last double crochet right into that stitch. So this is all we have to do for the very beginning of our top, which will be the straps, and all you have to do is to keep on repeating until you have the sizing of the strap you need. Remember that we are doing half of the strap, so if you already know the centimeters that you want to do for the entire strap from one side to the other, from the front to the back, so do half of that measurement of that size that you're going to be doing. So I'm going to be doing 12 rows following this same pattern here. Once I have the 12 rows completed, I will be back so I can measure the rows that I did, and also I will show you how many rows you have to do for each of the sizes, because I have to share this part with you. The rest will be made to measure. So here I have the rows completed. As you can see, I have 12 rows in total, and if I measure this one for you, it's 12.5 centimeters. I'm going to be leaving right here for you to see how many rows you have to do for each size, but remember that if you are using a thicker yarn than what I'm using right now, I will be doing more rows than you if you are using a thicker yarn. All right, that's why I am sharing this measurement with you. Remember that this is only half of my strap. I have the other side, which is also 12.5. So if I add both of them like this, I'm going to be having 25 centimeters. So now to start with the increases, you're going to start as previously, so chain 3, turn project, and then inside the chain 2 space, we are going to be first creating 2 double crochets, and then we are going to be chaining 2 and then creating the 2 double crochets, which is for this shell here. So now to increase, we are going to chain 2 and create 2 more double crochets all into that same chain 2 space. So this is basically the increase that we are doing. So instead of having 1 chain 2 space, now we have 2 chain 2 spaces here, so we can start the increases on the sides. And then all you have to do is to finish it off as before, so double crochet into that very last stitch. So once you have the increase, we can now move on into the next step, the next row. So chain 3, turn project. So every time you find a chain 2 space, you're going to be creating a shell right on top. And the shell, it's the 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. So that's what we are going to be doing right into this very first one. So we're going to be doing our very first shell here. So 2 double crochets, a chain of 2 and 2 double crochets. So from here, you're going to move right into the next chain 2 space and you're going to be doing another shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. And then finish this row as previously. So 1 double crochet into that last stitch right on top of the chain 3. After we've created the straps, we did 1 row with increase, 1 normal. So now for the 15th row, we are going to be doing with increases. So basically gonna do 1 row with increase, 1 without, to complete the previous row with the increases that we've created. You're going to understand a little bit better when you do it. So you're going to first chain 3, turn project, and then you're going to be creating shell on top of the chain 2 space. So now to increase, we are going to be creating 1 double crochet right in between the 2 shells. You can see that there is this space in between the 2 shells. So shell here, and there is a space. So you're gonna go right on top of that space and you're going to be creating 1 double crochet. So right on top of this one, we are going to be doing another shell, which is gonna be row number 16. So now we can complete this row by creating a shell right on top of the chain 2 space and then finish off this row. So now for row number 16, we are going to be completing this row without increases because we already have an increase here on the previous row. So we have to create a shell right on top of this increase that we've created here into the previous row. So you're first going to be starting with a chain 3, turn project, shell on top of shell, on top of the chain 2 space. So once you have finished the shell, you're going to be getting now into the increase part, which is the 1 double crochet that it's by itself here. So right on top of that double crochet, we are going to be creating a shell. So 2 double crochets all into the same stitch. chain 2 and 2 double crochets all into the same stitch. Okay, so now we are starting to increase even more the sizing of our top. So go into the next shell right on top and create another shell to finish this row off, and then double crochet into that last stitch to complete row number 16. So for row number 15, we have added 1 double crochet only into that row. So for row number 17, which is going to be the next one, we are going to be having 2 increases. So create the beginning, which is always the same, chain 3 and shell on top of shell. Right in between the shells, you're going to be doing 1 double crochet to increase this row. And then now into the next chain 2 space, right on top of the next shell, you're going to be doing another shell right on top. So now we need to add 1 more increase. So right in between the shells, another double crochet. So only 1. So 1 double crochet at the beginning and 1 at the end. So now when we go into the next row, we are going to be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shells. So I'm just going to be finishing here this row, creating my last shell, and then a double crochet right at the end to complete this row. So row number 17 looks like this. So we have 1 shell, 1 double crochet, shell, 1 double crochet, and shell. So to go into the next row, we are going to be doing the beginning here, so chain 3 and shell on top of shell. When you get to the 1 double crochet, you're going to be adding a shell right on top of that double crochet to complete the increase. So 2 double crochets, a chain of 2, and 2 double crochets all into that same 1 double crochet stitch. There we go. So now we can go ahead and do shell on top of shell. Once you've done the middle one, we are now going to be having another one here at the end, right on top of the 1 double crochet. And then to finish it off, you're gonna do shell on top of shell. And don't forget to do your last double crochet right at the end on top of the chain 3, just to complete the row. So we have completed the row without increases. So increase, no increase. So now we are going to be doing row number 19 with increases. So chain 3, turn project, shell on top of shell. So for the rows with increases, every time you finish the very first shell, into the next space in between the 2 shells, not on top of the chain 2 space, the space in between the double crochets you have here beside the shells, right on top of that space, you are going to be doing 1 double crochet to increase the next row. From this point to the other space that we also need to add 1 double crochet, we are going to be following the pattern, creating the shells on top of all the shells that we have here into the previous row. So this is how the row is looking so far. So we have the first shell, increase, 3 shells. Now we have to do another increase in between the shells, so 1 double crochet, and then now we can finish this row off. So there we go. So now all you have to do is to start the new row. So chain 3, turn project, shell on top of shell. So now all you have to do is to follow the previous row and create all the shells where you need to create the shells. So first we are going to be creating the shell for the increase before even starting with the other ones. Remember that we have 2 increases to complete. So the first one and the last one here. So we are going to be doing this one first. So shell right on top of that increase. And then once you've created that one for the increase, you're going to be following the pattern until the next one here at the end. So now I got here to the other side. I'm going to be completing here my increase by creating a shell right on top of the one double crochet from the previous row. And then now I can finish this row off. So here we have 20 rows completed that I just showed you how to crochet. So now we are going to be repeating the very last 2 rows until the centimeters that you have taken and that you have noted down from the beginning of the video. In this case, for this top that I'm doing is 23 centimeters. So I have here 20 rows. I need 4 more rows, so I'm going to be doing 24 rows to reach 23 centimeters for my top. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the 4 rows that I have to do, and then I'll be back to show you what to do next. So here I have my 24 rows completed. As you can see, this is how it looks like. We have the increases here on the sides, the shells here in the middle. And before I move on, I just want to measure this one that I just did so that you know exactly the measurement for this one. So it's 21.5 centimeters from shoulder to where I am right now. And here, the bottom where we just did the increases, I have 18.5, but remember that we need to make this until it reaches to 23 centimeters for my size. You can see that it reaches exactly 23. Stay like this, please. So it reaches to 23 centimeters when I pull to the sides, when I stretch basically the crochet. So once you have this one completed, you're going to fasten off and you're going to be making 3 more exactly the same as this very first one here that we did. All right, and what you have to do is fasten off 3 of them and leave the very last one without fasten off so that we can continue with the pattern and join all of the parts together. So what I'm going to be doing now, it's basically join all of these together like this so that we have 2 for the back and 2 for the front. I'm going to show you better in a second. For now, I have to just create 1 more row here on top of this one, so I'm gonna show you how to do that now. So this one is gonna have 25 rows with this one that I'm going to be doing. The rest will have 24 rows, all right? Because now I'm going to be adding this row right on top, and then once this one is finished, I will bring the next shape and I'm going to be attaching to this one and then create row number 25 right on top, following the attaching of the 2 parts here. You will understand a little bit better, trust me. It's just confusing to explain a little bit. So just follow exactly the same pattern. So chain 3, turn project, shell on top of shell, and then you're just going to be creating shell on top of shell all the way across, all the way to the end. And also remember not to create that very last double crochet that we do here at the end, because we are going to be doing this one together with the other side. You will see what I'm talking about. So for this one, no increases, just shell on top of shell all the way down the row. So here's my last shell, and as you can see, I did only shells for this row, so no increases. There we go. So what we are going to be doing now, it's bringing the next part. So now you're gonna get one of the parts. So this one now is going to be part 2, and then the other ones we have here for the back. And you wanna make sure that the yarn that you fasten off, it's on the right side so that it matches with the pattern that we are doing. So the rows here, they match exactly the same. As you can see here at the bottom where the strap is, also the yarns are on the same side so that the rows, they match perfectly. So what we are going to be doing now, it's attaching these two parts together. So the first thing we have to do is to create the very first part of the double crochet. All right, so you're going to be having 3 loops on the hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through the very first 2 loops, keeping the last one on the hook, now having 2 loops on the hook. And then you're going to be bringing the other part, so this is part 2, and then you're going to wrap the yarn around the hook, and you're gonna go right on top of this double crochet from the other part. And then you're going to pull up a loop, and now you're going to be having 4 loops on the hook going through right on top of that double crochet stitch. And then here you're going to yarn over and pull through 2, keeping that last loop on the hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops together. So that's how I attach my parts together. You can do any other way you find easier. This is just the best and neater way of doing it that I found. So now from here we are going to be following the same as we did with the very first part here. Create the shells on top of shells all the way down. So I just have finished here my very last shell, and I have completed all the shells on top of this second part, and this is how the joining looks like a little bit from far, as you can see. So we have the first one and the second. So now we are going to be bringing the third one, making sure that the yarn is on this side where you fasten off. So create the very first part of a double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, keeping the last one on the hook, yarn over, go through that very first stitch where you have to do the double crochet for the next part, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, keeping the last one on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through all the loops together. So that's the joining again. So from here we are just going to be following exactly the same shell on top of shell, following the pattern that we have on the previous row. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish row number 25 for the piece here, number 3. Once I have this one completed, the very last shell completed, I will be bringing the very last piece, so part 4, and then we are going to be joining exactly as we did previously, and then I'm going to be completing and doing row number 25 for this one. And then when I have this one completed, I will be back and we are going to be doing the next part together. You can complete the entire row until the very last stitch here. So you will be doing the double crochet for this last piece here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this one, and then I will be back to show you the next part. So here I have the very last part attached to the very top of our tank top, as you can see, and this is how it looks. So you have all of them joined together. So now we are going to be joining part 4 with part 1, the beginning of the part 1. So what I think is easier to do is just to fold the parts like this, and then you know that it's not twisted, nothing is like twisted, the joinings are not twisted, as you can see, it's nice and straight. So do make sure that this very beginning is not twisted. So now we can attach the beginning here with the end. So now all you have to do, remember to do the double crochet here, the very last double crochet for this part, for the last part, and you're gonna go right on top of the chain 3 from part 1, right on top, and then here you're going to be joining with a slip stitch. That's all we have to do. So now this is going to be all together, just like this. So all we have to do now is to go around and around with shells until the length that we want our top to be. So from here we have to run slip stitches until we get to the very first chain 2 space. So I usually do just 2, so 1 here, 1 slip stitch here, and another one right on top of the chain 2. And then here we can start our shells. So first you're going to be chaining 3, and then you're going to be creating a double crochet. You're going to chain 2 and then 2 double crochets all into the same stitch. All right, there we go. So that's the very first shell. So now we're going to jump right into the next one, and you're going to be following the pattern, and you're going to be creating shell on top of shell until you get to the joining, where I will be back to show you how to go from this shell to this one. So this is how it looks. We have the double crochets here and the joining right in the middle. So you're going to be skipping all this and jump right on top of the next shell you can find, and then you're going to be creating another shell right on top. So that's all you have to do, and then from here you can just follow the pattern all the way around, and also every time you get into the joinings you're just going to be repeating exactly the same. From now on is just shell on top of shell, so we don't have to do the last double crochets anymore. We are going to be skipping all this, and we are going to jump right into the next shell. All right, so I'm going to be repeating the same all the way around, and then I'll meet you right here at the end so that I can show you how to go from this shell to this one here to join the 2 parts, the 2 rows together. So when you get back to the beginning here, so I just finished the very last shell, we are going to be going right on top of the chain 3, and then we are going to be slip stitching both parts together. That's all you have to do. So now to move from this row and go into the next one, you have to do exactly the same as the previous row. So you're going to be slip stitching until you get to the chain 3, and then from here you can start the new row. So you're going to be doing exactly the same as well. So chain 3, create the very first shell on top of this previous shell, and then from here you're just going to be continuing shell on top of shell all the way around, exactly the same as we did to the previous row. And then when you get here at the end of the row, you're going to be joining with a slip stitch. That's all we have to do for the length of the top. So we are just going to go around and around and around, creating shell on top of shell, and then you can do as many rows as you want for the length of your top. Oh my god, everyone, are you seeing what I'm seeing right now? Look at this. Oh my god. Isn't it so pretty? I'm so excited. So I have here my top, the length of my top completed. I decided to go a little bit more cropped than I was thinking at the beginning because I wanted to do a little bit longer. But then I had an idea of doing something here on the waist, because then it's another idea that you guys can do. So here for the length of my top, I've done 18 rows from where we left off here, the cups, all the way to the length, 18 rows. And in total, from straps here to the bottom, I have 42 rows, just if you are wondering. Now I'm just gonna be measuring here for you. So from shoulder To length, I have 47.5 centimeters. So now we are going to move on into the next step. Because I have the yarn already attached here at the bottom, I'm already going to be doing the finishing here at the bottom, the hem, which I'm going to be doing some shells on top of these shells, but instead of doing the chains, I'm doing double crochets. So very simple. Let me show you how to do that now. So first you're going to be slip stitching until the chain 2, as we did previously, and then you're going to be chaining 3 and creating 4 double crochets all into the same chain 2 space. So we are going to be having here 5, counting the chain 3 at the beginning, just like this. And then you're gonna go right in between the shells. There is a space here, so right on top of that you're going to be doing a single crochet, and then go into the next shell, and then you're going to be creating 5 double crochets on top of the chain 2 space. And then right in between the shells you're going to be doing a single crochet. Go right on top of the next chain 2 space and create 5 double crochets. Go right in between the shells and create a single crochet. All right, so this is the pattern that we are going to be following all the way around. So I'm going to be continuing all the way around, and then I'll meet you right at the end to show you how to move from the single crochet to the chain 3 right here on the other side. So when you get here at the end, all we have to do is to create a single crochet first in between the shells, just like this, and then you're going to be joining with a slip stitch right on top of the chain 3. Make sure that you pull nice and tight and slip stitch both parts together. So right here you can now fasten off. So chain 1, cut the yarn and fasten off. So this is how the hem looks like, as you can see, with all the little shells. I think it adds a little touch to the top, so you can also decide any other little design for the bottom here of the top. You can do some peacocks as well, that looks super cute. You can do the actual shells that we were doing with the peacock in the middle. That's another idea. So now I'm going to be sewing the straps together here at the top. Make sure that when you're sewing, you do on the reverse. So you're going to be turning it on the reverse. You don't have to turn the entire top on the reverse. You can just turn the strap here on the reverse. And then you're going to be sewing it right here. Just showing you with a little clip, and then you're going to be turning it, and it's going to be already on the right side, as you can see. All right, so that's what I'm going to be doing.
But remember, don't hesitate to call on me for anything. Like you said, a human being, I'm going to make you take that chance. Things have been different for me ever since I met Hildy. I've never met anyone quite like her before.
So yeah, that's everything we have to do. So now you're going to be repeating the same here to the other side. So I have my straps sewn together, as you can see. So now the last thing we have to do is to create the single crochet finishing going around the neckline and the armholes. You can skip this part. The top is basically done. As you can see, you don't have to do anything else. The finishing here looks pretty nice. And even me now, I'm thinking if I should do the single crochet finishing or not. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you how to do it. And then I'm going to do here for the neckline and then see how that looks. If I like it, I'll keep it. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep it like that because the finishing, it's quite pretty already like this. So first we are going to be creating a slip knot. That's how I attach my yarn in place. And then you're going to be choosing any of the sided stitches that we have going around here, the neckline or the armholes. These are both the same. So you're gonna go through one of those stitches, and then you're going to be creating a single crochet. And then from here you can already start the single crochets. So I'm going to be doing 2 per stitch. So 2 here, 1, 2, and then going to the next one, 1, 2, next one, 1, 2. So 2 single crochets per sided stitch. So this is how it looks like, and all you have to do is repeat the same all the way around. And then here where the sewing is, you can just guess the stitches here and just place a couple of single crochets here and there just so it fits and it matches kind of the design of the single crochet that we are doing here, just like that. So it's super simple, just following the pattern here. So I'm just gonna continue here with the single crochets, and then I will be back to show you what to do when you get to the V-neck. So when you get here on the V-neck, you can just follow exactly the same pattern. We have a sided stitch here and another sided stitch right here. So you're gonna do 2 single crochets here and 2 here. So 1 and 2, go to the next one, and 1 and 2. All right, that's all we have to do. And then from here we can just follow the same steps all the way around until you reach the very first single crochet. So when you get at the end, you're gonna go through that very first single crochet that you did, and then here you're going to slip stitch the 2 sides together and chain 1, fasten off, and weave in. So all right, what do we think? With the finishing or without the finishing? I'm really liking the finishing because it gives like another extra detail to this top. So I think I'm going to be doing this for the armholes as well. Look at that, in the camera you can see a little bit better, like the finishing that it gives, super pretty. And it also gives more strength to the straps as well. So I think I'm gonna do it, and it looks super pretty. So yeah, okay, I've decided. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the finishings for the armholes and then also the weave-ins, and then I will be back to show you the very last thing we are going to be doing for the top. So here's how the top looks with the single crochet finishing. I think it's super cute. I love it so much. And now the last thing that we are going to be doing is creating a chain. In my case, I've created a chain of 150 centimeters. I didn't really count how many chains I did. I just measured 150 centimeters without stretching it. You just want to make sure that it goes all the way around here, the bottom of the top. Here at the end, you can just weave in back into the chain. It's going to basically lock the yarn in place if you don't want to do any tassels or anything like that, because I just want to keep it like this. So now with this chain, we are going to be passing it through the bottom of the top here, and then we are going to be leaving the 2 ends at the front so we can create a little bow to tighten the top at the bottom so it's nice and tight around our waist. Look at that, it's already looking super pretty. So I'm going to be doing that first. I'm going to be finding the middle and then starting on this stitch right here. I'm using this super big tapestry needle just to help me to go through the stitches. So I'm going to be starting right here, leave a little bit here at the front, and then we are going to go in a zigzag motion all the way around until this other stitch here on the other side. So here we have it. So now all you have to do is just tighten it when you're wearing it around your body as much as you want. and then you can just create a little bow here at the front, just like this. Oh my god, I cannot believe that we have just completed another project. Congratulations everyone, if you reached the end, you have completed your top. And look at this, isn't it the cutest top you've ever seen? I think this is the best top I ever crocheted so far. That it's also super versatile, that you can crochet like this, you can create a little bow here at the waist, and then you can just cinch in a little bit so it's nice and tight around the waist. I'm so excited, I'm talking all wrong. And then you can do it a little bit flowy, a little bit longer. You can even make it as a dress. There are so many possibilities with this pattern that it's countless. I'm so excited everyone that I have completed another tutorial for you guys, and I really hope you enjoyed as well. Let me know in the comments how it was for you guys to follow today's video, because I would love to know. And also, if you end up making this, don't forget to tag me on Instagram if you post any pictures. I love seeing everything that you guys do. You guys make me so happy. So yeah everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed again today's tutorial. And yeah, I don't really want to say goodbye because I'm like so excited about this top and I just want to keep talking. But yeah, I'm gonna have to say goodbye, right? Because otherwise, like, I'm gonna stay here forever. But yeah, thank you so much everyone, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.